Hello friends, welcome back to our channel Janu by Abhishek. Today we will learn again a very important topic which is going to help us in our spoken English, that is related to the silent words. As we have seen, there are many words while reading, while listening, we get to know so many words which have some silent letters in the words. Why does it happen? What is the history of it? If the thing is that we are writing something else and we are pronouncing in something else, so why is it? Why can't we pronounce as they are written? And why can't we remove those letters which are silent? Because they are not in any function, they are not functioning anything in that word. Yes, if I take an example of no, so I'm saying no, I know who you are. So no, here there is no use of K, but still we are using. Why are we using that? What is the reason? Okay, we will see that, but we will see that in this video. Okay, as you can see very clearly in the video, a question which is resonating the same thing, the history of silent words. What is the story behind the silent words? Okay, so why can't English words be pronounced the way they are spelled? What is the reason? Any guess? If yes, so no, don't forget to comment below. Okay, so let's see what is the history behind it. For this, definitely we have to go in our history. If we go into our history, so we will find in the earlier age, especially for India, so we used to speak two languages. First one was Sanskrit and second one was Prakrit. Prakrit. So in the earlier time, people used to speak these two languages, Sanskrit and Prakrit. And on that time, those people used to speak Sanskrit. We other people thinks that those are standard people. As we are thinking at that time, those speak English, they belongs from standard category. We have divided a category, they are standard. Those spoke other language, okay fine, but those speak English, they are standard. In the same way, at the earlier time, when people used to speak Sanskrit, so they were in the eyes of other people, they were standard. And other people and there is also another language, that is Prakrit, which also people used to speak. Okay, so what happens, this is the Prakrit language, and from the Prakrit language a language has come out, that is Devanagari. And from the Devanagari our language has derived, that is Hindi. This is the history of Hindi language, that how Hindi language has come out. Okay, so this was the Hindi language, this was for the Hindi language. Now for English language, in the earlier time, when writers started to come out from the society, people started to write the things. On that time they used the language that was English. By the way, all the people were not using for conversation, for communication English language. They were using their own language, as we use our language. On that time Sanskrit, Prakrit, then gradually Hindi comes. Okay, but if I talk about English, so on that time people used to speak their own language, like Spanish, French, Latin, German. They used to speak their own language. Okay, they were not shifted totally on English. But as the writer came out and they started to write everything in the written things. Okay, so as the thing come out, gradually started reading also. And as they started reading, they find interest in English. And as the interest developed in themselves, they started to use that language in their communication. And as they started to that language in their communication, what happens, gradually they were using gradually they were using that English language. But what happens while using English language, English language itself has no words, has no words. Yes, yes friends, it has not his own words. So those people had started to speak that English language. What they did, they started to take the words, vocabulary from their own languages or from other languages even, like German, French, Spanish, Latin, and you will not believe even some English words are there which we have been taken from the Sanskrit language. Yes, from Sanskrit language. So this was the thing, that how English has became a language by taking the words from different languages. So English had no words, and he had not on words. So that's how English took the vocabulary from different languages. So that's how, why people started to take different vocabularies from other languages, because English language had not there had not the vocabulary. And when people were using English languages to in communication, so they were not finding the vocabulary to express their feelings, the ideas, as they very easily used to communicate in their own languages. So that's how they started to take the vocabulary from different languages so that they can express their feelings in English language. So because of this, many words were there which they just took from other language as a pronunciation. They don't go for the words, because they used it just as a communication. So they didn't take vocabulary as per the spelling. They just use them as per their pronunciation. So here the first one we got, the where differences started to come, in the pronunciation and the spelling of word. Okay, this was the first reason. And then gradually when 16th century come, on that time, since 16th century, printing press has developed. Okay, on that time when printing press has developed, so because of this, many people many things has started get printed, has started get to get printed. And once the things have printed, we cannot change again them. Yeah, because can be differences in the same spelling, cannot print on another day in another way. Yeah, they cannot do this. So because of this, when all the things started to get printed, wording didn't change. And once they didn't change, so as they were earlier, they are the same till now. And because of that, their pronunciation is something else. It is not as per their spelling, it is in another way, and the spelling are in another way. So this was the reason that why can't English words be pronounced the way they are spelled. So this is the reason, this is the history of silent letters in any particular word. Now the main thing is that how can we tackle to that situation of silent words, because now at that time we face, while reading, while listening, many words we got to know, but when we go for the spellings we find something else. Yeah, so for this, how can we tackle them, and how can we learn that if any word we see, so we can get to know, yes, what are the letters which will be silent in those particular word. So for this, there is an observation, and even there are some rules through which we can got to know, and these are very limited. If you will once go through for all of them, you will get to know that what are the reasons and what are the patterns, what are the rules through which by following you can also get to know that how do you have to pronounce, and what are the words, what are the letters which will be silent in any particular word. Okay, so now we have to cover in this video what are those letters which we need to keep silent as per their rules and pattern, which have been observed definitely by the experts of our English language, English world. So we will now cover those things. Okay, so now let's see what are those letters.